What's up guys, this is LITE Crypto and you're watching the monthly airdrops recap for September 2025. Now before we go into the latest airdrops that you should be farming, let's talk about some big airdrop news first. Starting off with my prediction, which I did indeed make in the beginning of August on the last video, where I did say that August and September likely were going to be the biggest airdrop months of the whole year and maybe of the whole cycle. Now, there were a lot of airdrops that I did actually believe that would happen on August, but it seems that a lot of them were actually postponed, and that includes things like Abstract, Linea, and things that we have basically talked in the last couple of months or so. Now, there were some drops that actually indeed did happen on August, like Mitosis and Camp Network, which we did feature a multitude of times in these past videos, so congratulations in case you got those drops, which were not really like that big, at least in the case of Mitosis, which was very overfarmed in my opinion, but it is what it is. Now, it seems that a lot of these drops are actually bound to be happening on September, which I will talk about in a second, but I first want to kind of go into my updated tier list here. So a couple of things have obviously happened. We have removed a couple of entries which happened on August. We also have Linea here, which is going into our, well, first news story, I guess, here. There have been now a lot of community-made checkers for Linea. They dropped out this LAM points for a lot of people. Not every address were eligible, and now people are murmuring that the people who got the LXP and LAM basically are going to be getting the airdrop. There has been rumors also, or a statement from a team member, that you need 700 LXP to basically be eligible for the actual Linea airdrop. And everything really is indicating that the Linea airdrop is indeed going to be happening this September. I don't think that they're going to be pushing it as we're this close to the actual finalization. So anything you do in Linea right now is probably not going to be counting into that progression. Then we have InkChain, which we already did a dedicated video on. If you haven't seen it, well, go watch it. Monad, it's a second story here. They have now opened up a Monad Foundation website, which always means that when the foundation website is opened, that means we aren't very far from the TGE and the announcement of the actual tokens, and that probably going to be meaning also the launch of the Monad mainnet. And this is also one of the things I've most heavily farmed, really, out of any testnet out there, so I'm very hopeful. They were giving out these Twitter NFT things, or which are probably going to be part of the airdrop system, and I got one of them, so I was very lucky to be among the 10,000 of those. I think those were really cool. And then obviously we obviously know the Pump Fund has been delaying their airdrop. Meteora has started out season 2 now in their point system. OpenSea is also gearing up. And what else do we have here? Margin5 might be happening soon. Hyperliquid Season 2 might also happen in September. That's also in the cards. Abstract is also, of course, in the cards right now. And then we have things like Farscape and also Kong, which is from the CyberKong's NFT collection. Top traders on OpenSea are going to be getting that. Luckily, I got one account that was eligible for that, and that's likely going to be happening this September. So a lot of drops are expected, and these are the ones that I'm remembering top of my head, and there might be a lot more, but we don't know about those. Now, moving on in the news stories, the Seeker, which we did review on the channel, very successful in views, so thank for everybody who were pushing the algorithm for that video, sharing it, and all that stuff. My review of that, and in that we already talked about the September's app season. So it's going to be starting on September 8th, roughly in a week. And that means that there's going to be applications which are going to be giving you extra yield. So there's going to be deepen projects and DeFi projects which are going to be giving extra yield to the people who are using Seeker. And there's probably going to be also slated airdrops happening for Seeker in September as well. Nothing has been fully announced, but there is the website which you can go, known as the, well, actually we are on the very website, and it's, you go into the Seeker, and you're going to be going here, and here you can see the current drops that have been already happening, but it also states that the ones that have been announced. So claim announced in July 25th, and then there was another one for Woof, and I think there was a third one also, but it might have been removed from the list. but I think there's going to be more meme coin airdrops happening for Seeker holders. So if you have the phone, make sure to go activate your Soulbone token in it. You're not going to get shit if that's not activated. So having it, on wrappers, not going to be doing you any justice whatsoever. Then there's obviously some people asking, is it too late to buy? I think it's very easy to still buy it within the September time range. Then it's probably going to be diminishing returns. But I know that their whole thing is going to be running for multiple months. And one thing I did forget to mention is that in the Seeker season things is that you interacting with the apps are likely going to be getting you the Seeker's own token, points, which are going to be converting into the Seeker token at some point. So being active throughout these weeks is going to be one of the criteria. Then we have Soneium Score. This is an official website by the Soneium team. We had one dedicated airdrop video for this already. And they have quests. The first one here is this Uniswap. I actually did this today. You just need to do 10 swaps on the mainnet, and you're going to be getting experience, and there's going to be badges, and those badges are going to be definitely part of the thing. There's going to be some NFTs, obviously, and in next week, or actually more than a week, in 2 weeks almost, there's going to be a second campaign for a game called Evermoon, a MOBA game. And on the third work, there's going to be a Galx quest. There might have been also other ones. But as you can see, it's looking at transactions per day. So having multiple active days here, this metric is going to be very, very important, guys. Now, I do want to say that Soneium did earlier say that they were not going to do airdrop, and sometimes they lie about these things. Many have always backpedaled on them. Maybe they changed their mind, or they always wanted to de-incentivize farmers for coming in. But I think this season is going to run for 24 days, so it's going to end on September, then it's going to be starting season 2. So Soneium is probably going to be launching in like October or something like that. So it's going to be a bit far away, but I still think it's okay L2 to farm in terms of your mainnet options. I can't really think about a lot of others outside from Ink to farm, and Ink is probably also very close. There's a new Farcaster application known as Far Legacy. Now there's only going to be 5 invite codes in the description, or 1 code which has 5 charges. So you have to be really fast by activating my code. And it says something of a chest that you're going to be open up on a daily basis. There's a couple of other tasks that you can do inside. And this can be only done on the mobile version of Far Legacy. I can't open this on desktop. As you can see, I'm going to be trying to link, and then I'm going to be trying to continue and sign in. But basically, it won't let me do that because it's not available on desktop, which sucks, but it is what it is. So, and this is also going to be contributing into a Farcaster airdrop. I think I'm becoming more bullish on Farcaster as there's a lot of big players, you people like Jesse here on the platform. So there's a lot of potential to go forward with this one, in my opinion. So something to think about. Now, there's also a new DEX in town, or Perpetuals DEX, called EdgeX. And a lot of people are saying that this is going to be the next Hyperliquid because they have similar structure when it comes to the VCs. They don't have $1 million VCs who are getting allocations. This is very community-oriented DEX for Perpetuals. There's a couple of different coins available here right now. I think the max leverage is 10x for these coins, probably. Okay, there's 100x for Ethereum and Bitcoin, but everything else on Solana 50. And there's some other altcoins over here which you can also do, even meme coins, which is pretty nice. So in case you want to short or do Pengu, that's very good. Now, if you're not good at Perpetuals, there's also the E strategy. And in the E strategy, you can actually deposit. I made a small deposit. We are now testing it out. And basically, just going to be giving you yield. So there's a similar system in Hyperliquid where you provide liquidity and get yield for that. And that's also going to be giving you points. In the points tab, you can see how much points there is, how much points are being distributed on the current tiers and everything like that. You're going to get points from trading, inviting, and from the vaults, which I just showed you. So vaults are just depositing liquidity in. And right now I don't even have the points because I made the account, but I didn't start doing stuff until today. So very, very important drop, I would say, in case you really are into perps, because this does not have the same VC exposure as Margin Fi or Avantis or a couple of those drops. Also, Pharaoh's testnet, which we have talked about, they have raised, I think, $5 million, $8 million. One of the higher tier testnets that you can do right now, alongside with Monad. Maybe Monad snapshots have been taken already, I'm not sure. But this is currently on the season 2 phase, and there's new tasks here available, pretty simple stuff. And it's one of the better testnets to farm right now, in my opinion. I should actually be more active on it, to be honest, but it is what it is. And we obviously did talk about it in a previous video. I recommend using gas chips so you get a lot of tokens in case your overall Faris token balance is going to be one of the criterias. Moving on, we have RateX. I thought I would be mentioning this again, as there's not really very high quality stuff to farm in Solana, in my opinion, right now. This one is basically the best, as it has a lot of different yield programs over here with pretty high APYs for some of these tokens like XSOL. I think this is Jito USDC or something else. I'm not familiar with these. And the APYs are pretty good, and you're going to be getting the APY, and you're going to be getting obviously points. Some of these give you 3x, some of them give you 5x. So that's good. There's also obviously a transparent point system over here on this platform. I think I have I'm kind of low here on the things, but obviously I need to add more liquidity. I'm going to do that today. And there's obviously a referral program inside, which you can use my link to basically support the channel. But this is basically the best one you should be farming on Solana as right now, as there's many LSDs, but let's be honest about it, those are not going to be big drops. Another testnet, we have Umi, which is an EVM, which I don't know what's making them really essentially special. Well, you can read about it on their channel. They have raised $2 million. So it's a bit more higher end, once again, of these testnet things. If you like doing testnets, they have a pretty nice campaign, mix of daily quests and basically tweeting things and faucets and stuff like that, and daily check-ins. A lot of daily check-in stuff going on these days. But let's move on. And then we have Budget World. They released their first game, which is in closed beta. They were giving this SPT award. Luckily, I think I may have gotten them. And this might be also part of the abstract airdrop, and might be also getting Pengu airdrop. So playing the game might be smart, as a lot of the things they can accumulate in the game. It's like playing like Fall Guys on Steam. So basically the same concept, and actually it's pretty nice. I don't like the idea that it's mobile exclusive, but I guess it's gonna be avoiding less cheating and everything like that. But overall, like, it's a pretty good game, and I think I'm gonna do an overall review of it in the upcoming days. Once I get the time, it's gonna be a pretty busy week for me. But overall, this is gonna be a very much of the higher tier game fee games you can do right now, and probably I usually don't recommend them as they never been that big drops, but this time around I think there's so many incentives to do so, and as the items might be tokenized, that means that those are gonna be might be valuable, as it's kind of like PUBG, Fortnite. All the early stuff are going to be very rare down the line, so that's going to be pretty big. Then we have some new application called Football Fun, and this is for football people. There's kind of like, I think, prediction markets and things like that. I haven't really looked into this much, but I think they have raised considerable amount of money, and a lot of people are talking about it. And it's pretty easy to join into, as there's no, like, I don't think you need to provide any money here to get started. So this is another one where you just want to rank up on the leaderboards and just basically accumulate the rewards. And then there is this new DeFi app, which is basically a portfolio application for your funds. It shows all your money, and it shows also the home tokens, which are going to be, you unlock as basically, and if you were using Nansen, we talked about Nansen before in the last months, and month before that we talked about that. So if you had a Nansen account, you are getting free home points on the DeFi app. So make sure you're going to be registering this one. I think you can still claim them, and I think I'm going to be able to claim in 117 hours, so this is in a couple of days. And there are perps, there's an arena, and there's also governance, and this could be building into something, and you just want to accumulate more experience on the actual application. You can do that by trading, earning, trading, swapping, trading, and yeah, inviting people over. Season 1 is already over, so it's not the earliest, but it's still not too late to jump in. And then the very fast last thing we have on this list is the Etherscan, which I think we already did talk about, but I maybe okay, for some reason it's not lighting me to get into the actual page, but maybe there's a downtime right now. But it's basically a new quest system by the platform. Let me see if I can find it from the My Profile page here. Maybe I might be blocked or something right now at this point, but it's another place, maybe another good airdrop to accumulate on. But that wraps up this video, this month's thing. September is going to be pretty big. As always, join the Airdrop Recon Telegram. I do some postings there as well and recaps when I get the time. So it's good way to kind of keep up with the things. And obviously joining my personal Discord and my Telegram. You're going to be getting a lot of extra intel here as we're talking about all these things in live time. And September is going to be a big month, and we're probably going to be doing obviously recaps and maybe extra Airdrop episodes in case it's needed, because there might be a lot of things going on. And thanks for watching, guys. I will be seeing you in the next video when that will be dropping out. Cheers.